I'm about to show you something I've been wanting to test for months. You're going to see ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini go head-to-head on the exact same 10 tasks. Not theoretical stuff. Real work. I'll score each one honestly. No sponsor talking points, no bias. Just results. Let's get into it. I took 10 tasks that actual creators and professionals deal with every day. I'm going to run each one through ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. Same prompt. Same context. Same timeline. Then I score them based on usability, creativity, accuracy, and how much editing they actually needed. Task 1 is writing a YouTube script. I gave all three the same brief: create a 5-minute script about why people procrastinate, suitable for a business channel, conversational tone, no fluff. Here's what happened. ChatGPT delivered a solid, structured script. Very clean. It had a hook, 3 main points, and a call to action. The flow was logical and the language was accessible. It needed almost no editing. The only thing is it felt a bit generic. Like a template with the blanks filled in. Score: 8 out of 10. Claude went deeper. The script had more personality. The hook was sharper. There was this unexpected analogy about willpower being like a muscle that actually stuck with me. The reasoning section was more nuanced. It did ramble in one spot, though. I cut about 80 words. Score: 9 out of 10. Gemini was close to ChatGPT actually. Well structured, professional, but it played things safe. The examples felt recycled. Editing time was minimal, but the end result felt like it could have been written 3 years ago. Score: 7 out of 10. Winner on Task 1. Claude, barely. Task 2 is research and summarization. I asked all three to research a trending topic in AI from the past week and summarize it in 3 paragraphs. The catch is I wanted nuance, not just facts. ChatGPT gave me solid research. Very factual. It cited sources properly and the summary was balanced. But it didn't push any interesting angles. It was competent and safe. Score: 8 out of 10. Claude went harder. The summary had a point of view without being biased. It highlighted the implications that other people weren't talking about yet. The 3 paragraphs actually built on each other narratively. This is what separates good research from great research. Score: 9.5 out of 10. Gemini fell short here. The research felt surface level. Like it did a quick Google and summarized the top results. No unique angle. No critical thinking layer. Score: 6.5 out of 10. Winner on Task 2. Claude, decisively. Task 3 is cold email drafting. I gave all three a scenario. You're a freelance designer reaching out to a potential client you found on LinkedIn. Make it personal. Make it short. Make it feel real. ChatGPT nailed this actually. The email was concise, specific, and the call to action was clear. It referenced something from the person's profile. It didn't feel spammy. Very professional. Needed 0 edits. Score: 9 out of 10. Claude wrote a great email too. Maybe slightly more creative in the opening. But it was a bit longer than I wanted. I cut 2 sentences. Still excellent. Score: 8.5 out of 10. Gemini was too formal. It felt like a letter your grandpa would write. Not enough personality for modern outreach. Score: 7 out of 10. Winner on Task 3. ChatGPT. Task 4 is explaining a complex concept simply. I picked quantum entanglement and asked for a paragraph explanation suitable for a 12-year-old. ChatGPT used the analogy of magic coins. Simple, visual, memorable. A kid could understand this. Score: 9 out of 10. Claude used a different angle. Instead of comparing it to something familiar, Claude built up the mystery first, then explained it. More narratively interesting but maybe slightly harder to follow on first read. Score: 8.5 out of 10. Gemini tried to explain it technically and just made it more confusing. It used words like superposition without simplifying them. Completely missed the assignment. Score: 4 out of 10. Winner on Task 4. ChatGPT. Task 5 is generating business ideas. I asked for 10 business ideas suitable for someone with a social media background and a budget under $10,000. ChatGPT gave me 10 solid, practical ideas. They were realistic. Some were a bit obvious, but they were all executable. The explanations were brief. Score: 8 out of 10. Claude went unconventional. Some of the ideas were riskier and more creative. One about building a niche community platform actually made me think. But 3 of the 10 felt half-baked. Like ideas that needed more development. Score: 7.5 out of 10. Gemini played it even safer than ChatGPT. Every idea was the classic freelancer path or e-course route. Nothing new here. Score: 6 out of 10. Winner on Task 5. ChatGPT. Task 6 is content editing. I gave all 3 a badly written paragraph and asked them to tighten it up without losing the meaning. Here's the original paragraph. It was bloated, repetitive, and full of filler. ChatGPT cut it down, removed the fluff, kept every important detail. Efficient and clean. Score: 9 out of 10. Claude did the same thing but suggested a few rewording options. It gave me choices instead of just delivering a final version. That's actually really useful because different contexts need different tones. Score: 9.5 out of 10. Gemini over-edited. It cut out nuance that actually mattered. Technically shorter, but less effective. Score: 7 out of 10. Winner on Task 6. Claude. Task 7 is weekly planning. I asked all 3 to create a realistic 5-day work schedule for someone juggling a full-time job, a side project, and personal health goals. ChatGPT gave me a structured, hour-by-hour breakdown. Very detailed. Realistic time blocks. Actually usable. Score: 9 out of 10. Claude gave me a more flexible framework. Less rigid. It emphasized energy management and batch work instead of strict scheduling. For some people this is better. For others it's too vague. Score: 8 out of 10. Gemini was just a basic template. Didn't take into account the full-time job constraint very well. Score: 6.5 out of 10. Winner on Task 7. ChatGPT. Task 8 is social media captions. I gave all 3 a picture scenario and asked for 3 Instagram caption options. ChatGPT delivered 3 solid, different captions. One was funny, one was inspirational, one was direct. All on brand. All usable. Score: 9 out of 10. Claude went creative. The captions had personality. They felt like they were written by a real person, not a bot. But one of them was maybe a bit too edgy for some brands. Score: 8.5 out of 10. Gemini was generic. The captions felt like they came from an emoji-heavy template. Too many hashtags, no real voice. Score: 6 out of 10. Winner on Task 8, ChatGPT. Task 9 is document summarization. I used a technical white paper and asked for a one-page summary. ChatGPT captured the main points clearly and organized them logically. Easy to scan. Missing some nuance but very useful for someone in a hurry. Score: 8.5 out of 10. Claude included more of the nuance. The summary actually helped you understand the implications, not just the facts. Better for someone who wants to understand the context. Score: 9 out of 10. Gemini oversimplified. It lost important distinctions. You'd finish reading it and not really understand the paper. Score: 6 out of 10. Winner on Task 9, Claude. Task 10 is answering a tricky logic question. Here it is. There are 5 houses in a row. Each house is a different color. Each house owner has a different nationality, drinks a different beverage, smokes a different cigarette brand, and has a different pet. Based on these clues, figure out who owns the fish. This is the Einstein puzzle. It requires real reasoning. ChatGPT worked through it systematically. Showed its work. Arrived at the right answer. It was logical and easy to follow. Score: 9 out of 10. Claude also got it right. Added some interesting commentary about the puzzle structure itself. The explanation was even clearer. Score: 9.5 out of 10. Gemini got confused partway through. Made an incorrect deduction. Got the wrong answer. Score: 2 out of 10. Winner on Task 10, Claude. Let's do the scorecard. ChatGPT wins 4 categories. Cold emails, simple explanations, business ideas, social media captions. It's consistent, fast, professional. Claude wins 4 categories. YouTube scripts, research, content editing, document summarization, and the logic puzzle. So Claude actually wins 5. It goes deeper when you need depth. Gemini wins 0 categories. It came in third on 8 out of 10 tasks. It's not bad. It's just not specialized enough yet. Here's what actually matters though. You don't pick one tool and stick with it forever. You pick the right tool for the right job. Writing a cold email? ChatGPT is faster. Deep research? Claude. You want to get something done quick and professional? ChatGPT. You want something more thoughtful and nuanced? Claude. You need to explain something to a kid? ChatGPT. You need to solve a complex logic problem? Claude. The real win is having access to all 3 and knowing which one to use when. That's how you actually save time and do better work. This is AIIQ, smarter tools, bigger results.